Why is the long snapper so important?
You just ask all the field goal kickers that don't miss a field goal, right? That can't make it simply because the snap's not there, the snap's off, the timing's off. It's one of the most overlooked things in all football. You can't replace points.
It's the most interesting position on the field, but it's also, you just don't really want to hear my name. Is what I just kind of want to fly under the radar.
My name is Parker Zellers. I coach the defensive line here at Notre Dame. Slater, he's my little cousin.
Slater specifically, his locker was next to mine, so I saw him every day, spoke to him every day.
In high school, essentially since his freshman year, he was the #1 long snapper in the nation.
Yeah, I was a little confused at first. I saw that, it said he was coming home, and I was hoping it was a red and blue type of background, but looked pretty dark and maroon and just kind of those not as pretty colors as red and blue.
And for example, when Slater was getting recruited at Cal, Coach Ragle was his recruiting coordinator, and he's the one that looked after him. Well, Coach Ragle was a head coach over at Chaptown here for many years.
I figured when Ragle came here that Slater was going to come too. I think it worked out perfect, and I was able to finish in December. As far as ASU, of course, familiar faces as well. With Coach Amy recruiting me when he was at U of A. Coach Ragle, of course, coached me when I was at Cal. Coach Baldwin as well. And so I think that was pretty neat to be able to connect with them again. And I think trust is a big thing.
I always try to look out for him and kind of be that brother figure for him, since he had 2 older sisters that, would give him some grief here and there.
Like Jake, I had him I was the head coach of the freshman team at the time, and he was my player. Not only was he our long snapper, but he was our center at that time. And then by his senior year, I had become the varsity head coach, and the way he would be able to zip that ball back there would be the equivalent of a 5-star quarterback being able to throw the ball back. The amount of speed and velocity he came back, it was truly amazing.
From when he was about 7, 8 years old, his dad, really kind of started pushing him hard. And my Uncle Brad, he definitely, character is kind of a nice way to put it. I kind of, joke around and say that he looks like Pete Carroll. He reminds me of Pete. So we'd go to vacations to Iowa, and his dad would make him, pack up bags full of PVC pipes and make him, put together his little target out in the middle of Iowa when we're on our family vacation. So I have a lot of stories, even outside of Notre Dame, just playing, pick up football in the street on Thanksgiving or Christmas. We always had to end it in a tie because he could never lose. He's real competitive.
Look at somebody like Slater. I think, man, you've been away from home so long. You can snap that thing anywhere. Doesn't really matter about the scheme.
For the lead, snaps good, kick, good.
I had a great career. I graduated from there. I think now it's to change some scenery. Let me go home and then kind of end out my college career, in a bang.
He did have an extra year of eligibility because of COVID. Something my old coach told me, Coach Rodriguez at U of A, he would always say, your window of opportunity in football is about this small. He'd always say, here's life and here's football. So that kind of puts in perspective. And I always told Slater just to, if you have that opportunity, take it. Don't. Not that I didn't want him to try to go play in the NFL, but, college football to me is really special. And if you have that opportunity, I was encouraging him to take it.